thought I'd ask a question. Pretty simple one. Is there a reason? Is there any advantage anywhere arguing with idiots, imbeciles, or morons? And I think it would be different arguing with each group, but is there any value in any of it? And beginning of this, the reason why I'm asking, because I just started watching Santos Bonacci do a debate with Will Johnson. Answer is no. I'd like to explore this just a little further, because I think it goes into another thing. It's like the Dunning-Kruger effect being one thing, and then there's also, at what point do they even understand? Like, and then you can throw in there arguing with the troll that's paid for, and what's up, Griff? And how much do people believe their own malarkey? So Santos is arguing with this guy who, here's what happened. So Santos gets some emails from some people that think the realm being flat is terrible. It's stupid. And they just insulted him. They're like, oh, you want to do a live show with us? Gets on the so he goes to do a show, and after responding to their email, was saying, like, you know, you're gonna tell me to fuck off, I'm gonna tell you fuck off. That's what basically the email back and forth. So they do a show, and the audio's working on one side, but it's not working on Santos' side. So he's sitting there going, oh, you can't even work a computer. You can't even work. It's just the funniest thing. So I was like, oh, I can't even watch this, because the kid he's arguing with, he's just somebody that you just want to pummel, like seriously, just pummel. Like you can understand why, like in one sense you feel sorry for him, but in another sense you're like, you didn't get beat up enough as a child. You didn't get your ass whipped as a child. You should have. You know, you geeky, nerdy types. Dorky ones. And I'm not even call him nerdy, I'm calling him a dork. He's a dork. I'm like, people listen to this guy. So anyways, if you were to argue with what you'd call an idiot, that's a 2-year-old. You can't argue with a 2-year-old. They don't know any better. They have no self. So you can't argue with idiots. Can't argue with an imbecile, because that's up to about like 5 years old development. You can't argue with that. You can kind of help them along a little bit. But a moron, right? Somebody that's got the mental capacity of a 12-year-old, arguing with them in certain ways works, but not always. Can't argue reason and logic with people that don't have reason and logic, or self-identification, or even they can't see beyond the blinders of their own malarkey, their own bullshit shenanigans. So I just started watching it, and I was just like, I'm just no matter what, because the guy, he's going to just straw man the shit out of Santos. He's going to use so many things that are cognitively dissonant that is incredible, and he's going to use a lot of I can already see it. He's not going to listen to anything said. He's not going to answer anything that Santos presents, and he doesn't want to know. And he's going to just laugh and then just say something ridiculous in return, rather than even. There is no debate. There's no conversation. Nothing moves forward. I can't imagine somebody from his show coming listening and going, "Oh yeah, maybe Santos was right about that. That's interesting point of view that you have there." Like if they're sitting there eating steaming piles of shit, right? And you're like, hey, there's poop on your plate. You probably shouldn't eat that. Like, oh, that's not poop. You're so stupid. That's not poop. That's a prime rib. I'm like, no, actually, this is what a prime rib looks like, and this is what it tastes like. I don't want to eat your prime rib, but I mean, this is definitely prime rib. And they're eating a pile of dung, which is basically what his audience and he does. So I just don't know that if he's eating his own feces. So that's the thing about people. Some people they just don't know because they don't know, and they grow up and they argue and they don't know how to. They don't want to learn. They and they stay ignorant. But is there a reason ever to try to educate? I don't know. Like I'm still kind of stuck, because there are levels even within idiots, imbeciles, and morons, that you can kind of, there's a level of like, what did they used to call them? And the names changed through the years because they got to find something new that's offensive. If you're offended by somebody calling you a retard or a moron, or then maybe you are though, but they can't accept that, so then they have to be offended by it. Can't use that word. Now what are they going to learn if they have no they have no like self-identification, self-worth? They just, especially if they're paid to do it. What are you going to do? What do they really want to know? What would really help them? Well, Santos went kind of nuts because it's like if you don't go a little crazy, if you're not a little upset, if you're not mad, you're not paying attention at all to anything that's going on. If everything that's going on in the world isn't at least irritating, frustrating, and I don't know, at least a little bit, and to have all the knowledge and to have people just be like try to derail you, the more you're doing to help people understand how things work, so they can have, autonomy and freedom and allow their mind to see the world the way it is, or even closer to what it might be. That'd be tough. No wonder. And also he went too vegan with it, so. Hey, Kalos, for real? What is LifeWave? I don't even understand what that is. What's up? Yeah. If he's pushing something, I don't even know what that means. He's got to get by. He's got to make some money. I don't discount it. I used to a long time ago. I never wanted to like make my page whatever, and I but then I did, and now I can't anymore because page got shut down. So yes, I do accept donations and things for things that I help people with. But yeah, I mean, regardless of what we think of things, you need to have, money's gonna get you food. It's gonna get you a place to live. It's gonna get you, can't escape those things. But also, everybody's got their Achilles heel or their blind spot. Let's put it that way: blind spot in what's important. Like he might actually believe in what the life thing is. I haven't seen it. It might be cool. There would be a product that I could make, but I would always, even if I made, there's a lot of things that I want to make, and if I had the money and help doing it, I'd have already made a bunch of different things, and I would have trademarked them or registered them or whatever, because that's going to be my intellectual / property. You got to make some money, right? But all in all, I would always tell people going into it, like, if you want the way to go about this, it's free. Go drink your piss. But here's what I know: you're not going to drink your piss. If you go into it that way, and I'll say it right now, I'll tell you all the free now. You've seen my videos, I'll give you all the information for free. I'll tell you how to do the shit for free. But most people, do you think they really want to fast in water? Do you think they really want to drink the piss? Once you do, But hey, there's other ways you can do it. If I could like, just drink some oil, and that's going to solve your problem. But if I said, okay, but I know how to make a more refined oil that's better for the system, then of course I would just say, you can drink any oil, but this is going to work better. Oh, well, there you go. It's just a way to, okay, Los Angeles. Yeah, so there you go. It's just a way to collect money out of something that was already free. I'm at my core, I'm against that. But where the world is, like, what choices do people have, really? If you want to get by and get through the world, like, you happy sleeping in trees and, I mean, what are you eating fucking dandelions off the field? And I mean, okay, go hiking, go live in a tent or forest or find a cabin. I mean, whatever, that's fun. But really, is that everything? That's all you need to have fun. Oh yeah, Griff. You know why though? Because it's free. There's no money in water. You can't. Do you remember? Do you remember Daniel Vitalis? He used to sell. He used to. He was like the water shaman. He was like the top degree knowledge of water that I knew. And I even went on one of his like he had a retreat, and I went and hung out with him for like 2 days, and a bunch of other people, and learned a bunch of things. And he started selling water. He started selling spring water that was in a glass bottle inside of well, and yeah, also to keep light out of it, he put it inside of paper bags, like it was like all printed, and it was like something like $6 or $7 for a bottle. Sorry, I mean people bought it, called it raw water. I'm like, how much water are you supposed to drink in a day, and how much water you need? Like, how much can you afford? $6 for one thing of water, $6? Come on. Anyways, but that's what he used it because he needed to. You know, you got to get by somehow. You got to make money. How are you gonna do it? You can't. There's ways of not. There's ways of being authentic and still making money and being. And for me, it would be, if I had the money to start up any kind of business, I would. But I would always say, like, look, this is what went into it, and if you want to do it for free, here's the things you can do. But I know you're not going to do that, so let me put it together for you. You know, like that thing about the pee-pee thing. Well, I mean, just drink the pee and eat the vegetables. I'll make it simple. Drink the pee, eat the vegetables. You don't want to drink pee? Okay, let me show you what you do with urea. Okay, and don't be a vegan because now you're eating plastic. Okay, we can do some things to like intervene in people's consumption habits, but I'm still going to tell you ahead of time. I'm not going to change my mind. I can't go from I know what nature provides and then going, yeah, but it's not enough, and you're not enough. That would be ridiculous. Yeah, I don't even know. I've never used them, so I don't have any idea. They could work really good, like shit. I mean, if you like, you can amplify and upgrade anything. You can amplify and upgrade all sorts of things with magnets and crystals and all of that. Yeah, you can make it better. I'm sure you can even make pits better. That's all alchemy. But to only sell that and say that the other shit is no good, I don't know. Extended distilled fast, not as long as I did on spring, but I've done a lot of fasts. Like I stopped collecting spring water a little while after that fast, and I just started using solely distilled. Like during the fast, I think I was using spring and some distilled, but then I just used solely distilled because I started getting into I think it was probably around the time that I got into Andrew Weber's work and talking about like, okay, well, even if it's coming out of the ground in the spring, it's still dead minerals, so it's not so good for your body because it's been storing it. And I was like, oh, that just makes sense now. Yeah, what a pro. But yeah, I mean, I've done distilled water. I don't know how many days. I've done urine. I've done 7 days. I've done distilled water. I don't know how many different times I've done short fasts on waters, juices, beers, liquids, but things that are cleansative for the most part. You know what I mean? I just done so many small ones that I don't remember. I don't remember, maybe a week, maybe a few times a week. But I've done so many short ones, 4 or 5 days. But most of even the short ones, I can't. I would never tell. Like I've told people before, I would never suggest to do what I do. Like I might just drink vodka and distilled water and maybe have a glass of tea for the evening. To me, that's not quite a fast. in the same way, because there's some sugar in the iced tea or whatever, and there's whatever the tea is, that I wouldn't call it a complete, like, full-on fasting. But nonetheless, I mean, to get rid of heavy, dense, solid foods, yeah, plenty of things. Oh, Calisthenos, you said, so do you think he personally banned you? Or, and I obviously don't know what for, I don't even know what was going on there, but, I mean, shit, some of the people, there was a couple of people that I liked that banned me from their channel. Well, they didn't ban me, they got mad at something I said. I don't want to get into it, but I was talking to somebody in the comments, and I was, like, adding to what he was saying. He says, don't go that direction with this. I was like, somebody asked me a question about something. We're talking about plasma. Kalo Thanos, you said you came correct. Yeah, I think that might be the thing. If you're in the once you're in a business, anything that contradicts the business model, would you like somebody saying something about, like, you're selling car tires, and here's why they're not the best? You go, but they are the best, and here's why they are. It'd be irritating to go, okay, there's 80 reasons this is the best, and 3 reasons why it's not the best, and those might be the best. And that would be, but when you come and say, hey, use this because da 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 da, and here's the chemicals, and here's all the, here's why this is better. If you don't just go, okay, well, let's just start at the beginning. The rubber that we use on the tires is better because of all of these things. It's more sustainable, da 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 da, and here's how we carved it, But you want to make the perfect tire? Go do it. Don't tell me it's kind of like you meet somebody like, okay, there's 3 things, you have 3 things wrong with you. Oh, there's plenty of things wrong with me, right? But if that's what they focus on, you're like, really? Like, all the good shit that I do? I can't tell you how many times I'm like, what the fuck? Like, all the good shit I do for people? Like, I don't even question it. And then somebody's like, but you said this and did this. I'm like, that's what you take out of this, all of this. So I get it. So especially if it's your business model and that's your income, you can't teach a man to know something if his paycheck relies on him not knowing. It's a troubling truth. No shit, Calisthenos, that's for real? I wonder. I'd ask him about that. No shit. That's on another channel I got. So I got in an argument with somebody. And it's somebody that doesn't know about it, though. But they were talking a lot about plasma. I'll tell you who it was. It was Jay Dreamers. I had a little bit of communication with him, but never, like, talked to him as in person. But I even paid and supported his channel. This is when I don't even have money. I gave him the $4 a month or whatever, $8 a month to listen to his behind-the-scenes heavy-duty shit. I did. And a couple times, people asked me something that knew me from my channel. They knew me from my channel and said something. And I was like, oh yeah, well he's talking about plasma in this way, and da 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 da. And I was explaining something, and then he was not having that. What? It's like, well, all right. Well, sorry for being truthful about that. I mean, that's not interrupting your income though. It's not interrupting the idea that plasma out here has something to do with the plasma in here. As above, so below. Don't you say that? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a shit way out, though. That is, I mean, I agree with you here, because at the beginning of the video, here's the funny thing is, I don't think he could understand it. So this is all because Santos was talking to this other dude, who's a complete douche, obviously. The other dude goaded him into an argument, because he just said, you're an asshole, and you're the reason that Australia sucks, and, flat earth this, and da 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 da. And he goaded him into an argument. I was like, you see, he's goading you in an argument, and he's paid for. There's nothing you can teach him or his audience. I was like, that's the beginning of the show. Is like, if they don't want, if they just want to argue. Like, you're not going to win here. No matter what you do, they're going to spin it to make you look like an asshole. Even though like the dude was aggressing at him to begin with. But yet, watch a sports game. It's not the first person that commits the foul; it's the second person. That's the one that always gets the first one. Does something stupid, the ref doesn't see it, and then they see, oh, they're fucking back and forth. They got to call the second foul. The next one they see, even though they know damn well that didn't occur, but they have no foul to call on the other person. So, and I don't know what the shit looks like. I just know it's the stuff. I was like, I thought we had moved beyond the whole conversation at all about flat Earth and globe Earth. I mean, in the sense that like, if MFers don't get it, that we're probably not on a globe, and if it is, it's way bigger. And either way, if it's way bigger, somebody's bullshitting, and it seems to be the organizations that they're holding up to be truthful. You really think we landed on that thing out there that seems to be a map and seems to be a reflective surface? Well, then we're gonna have, what are you gonna teach these people? They don't want to know. They're either paid for or they're dumb as rocks. Yeah, I got you, Divine. Yeah. Probably. I don't, that's cool. See, for me, that's cool as long as I can still say, hey, just like I said earlier, this is a great product, and but if you want something that's free, do this. But I guarantee most people don't want to do that. Most people don't want to drink piss. Most people don't want to go and take aged urine that they left in their cupboard for 2 months and then go out into the sunshine and spray themselves down and stare into the sun. They don't want to do that. That's way too much. So here, just do this. This will cost you some money, but just remember, this is the best way. But let me remind you, that's a better way. As long as you know that. If I say, hey, if you want to, they'll be like, hey, how do I get to the airport? I'm like, well, here's the quickest way to get there. Like, well, I don't want to go that way because it goes through, I got to take like 2 turns and there's a back road and I'm not comfortable with that. I was like, all right, fine. If you take the expressway, it's going to get you there, but it's going to take you an extra 10 minutes. They'll take the extra 10 minutes. So and you're going to have to pay the toll. You're going to have to pay the toll to get on it. They'll be like, I don't care. I'll pay the extra $5. It's going to take longer, and plus you got to pay the toll. No, I just want a straight shot. That's what they want. Oh, Griff, interesting question. Lost secrets, like urine therapy being a huge one. Like, what more could you ask for? That you literally have an onboard system that can reboot your entire everything that's going on. Will it be that big? No. I mean, the fact that we've come across many different things that are like, what do they call everything in the Bible? A revelation. Like, oh, here's a new revelation of something. It's like the great unveiling. It's not a revealing, it's an unveiling of things. Like the shape of the earth. Wow, that's crazy. What does it really mean? Well, it just means you can spot who's, BS. And there's a lot of things that we've kind of go, oh, wait, so these mountains, they were melted buildings? These are huge. But as huge as urine therapy? No. And this is why I know people will not accept urine therapy. That's they will soon enough. Just like they'll accept that the realm is probably flat and then, outer space is that way and that way, not necessarily that way or that way, even though there is something down there and up there. But that's for another time. I don't know. That's what's bigger than that? Because once you do that, then all of a sudden your brain starts glowing. You get your pineal, starts wah wah wah, and you can get out of body. And I don't know what's more than that. I mean, that's basically like having the key to every door. I mean, wouldn't it be? What else is that powerful? I mean, we already know that breathing, if you do high level breath work, it's going to be, we already know that probably prana and breatharianism and shit is of a higher value, but it doesn't. It's really not a secret. Breathing is important, but drinking your piss, that was your secretions, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Divine light. Yeah. What else? Isn't that what you're searching for? Like, in maybe another realm, it might be something else. I mean, what did? I mean, look at the stones that Thanos wore, right? Do you think that has something to do with the Philosopher's Stone? The Philosopher's Stones, maybe something to do with chakras. I don't know. I never got into the decoding that movie, but there's certainly lots of good things in the Marvel universe. A lost limb? Well, I think it could. I don't know if you asked me earlier or somebody else did. It would still have to do with plasma, but it would have to be how it's used, because to get that to start functioning again, before you don't need your limb back as much as you need all the other organs to work. Until your body's in tip-top shape. Think of it this way: if you got a really nice car and you break your bumper off, replacing that bumper is not as important as making sure you put clean oil in, and you've got your turbos in order, and you've got an air cleaner. All of those things are going to come way first, because you want your car to work, and so your body is doing the same thing. It's not going to replace that last little part. Meaning, like, you don't really need a hand until, like, once that's the bumper, or even a car door. You don't really need the car door. It'd be nice. But if what do you want? You want the car door? Or do you want the engine in tip-top shape and all the other components just firing properly? And as soon as that's done, and you have extra energy, and that plasma, I think it has something to do with, like, it might be technology driven, but plasma gun, some sort of sound wave, some sort of something, but you'd have to re-moisturize that if you were missing like a pinky or something. There'd be a way to do it. It's like if you had a really bad scar, the way to get rid of the scar would be literally to use a really sharp blade, cut the scar out, and then re-put the skin together using smarter methods. And then a really screwed up scar would be gone. You would cut it out. So in the same way, so that would re-heal properly if you were keeping it moist and keeping the right, whatever's the best healing thing. So if you were missing a finger, you might have to do something to get rid of the end of the nub, right? And then let it grow back on its own. I don't know what that would look like, but it seemed like some sort of, you probably need technology to do it, but so this, so just finishing up this, is there any value to arguing with idiots, imbeciles, and morons? And Santo was talking to this dude. I'm just wondering who's listening. Like, where do you have to be in your path to still be listening to somebody argue about that? Like, either you know it or you don't know it. That's all. And the people that still arguing about it, like, I'm wondering, why is he still arguing about it? Like, I get it if that was because he's Leo rising. I get where I get how he is, and that's fine. That's just part of his nature. He can't really, he hasn't escaped that. But I mean, if you look at it from the outside, what do you suppose what is the result? The guy goes, "Oh, good point, Santos. You're right. That makes so much sense, because I have not been arguing about the globe versus flat earth for the last 3 years." Oh wait, he has. I don't have every video devoted to making fun of and laughing at and saying how stupid it is. Oh wait, he does. he's gonna be like, I never heard that perspective before. Thank you for enlightening me. Do you think he has able to do that? No, he can't do it. He wouldn't do it. And what do you think his audience is gonna be like? I've listened to this dude for a long time. He sounds like a fool, and that guy sounds smart. You think they're just gonna give up their? If two gurus were having a conversation in a room, and one guru was clearly outclassing the other, would you just jump ship and go over to the other team? Where do you hold allegiances to? That's what I mean. That's what they basically said. Hey, we're gonna come in this ring and argue, and no one's gonna win. No one's gonna win. There's no winner. There's just two people arguing and going, I won that. He's like, I won that, or I got paid, or whatever the hell. And the audience that came for that team, who do you think? You think because two basketball teams play against each other, you think once the game is over, they're gonna be like, that's the better team, I should root for them? They don't do that. They stick with their team. Yeah, but then you have fair weather fans and people that, they'll find the new team next year. But all in all, when they have there's no one that's listening to the broadcast from the other dude's side that's gonna be like, Santos obviously showed him up, and he's made proofs. They're not going to take it. They won't have it. So it seems like a moot argument. Listening to the beginning, I was like, why am I listening to this? Is this good humor? Well, who else up in here? I don't know where else I'm going to go with this conversation. Which is funny because I enjoy good back and forth and good arguments. Why? Because that's how I've learned a lot. I like to argue with people. Not because I want to be right, but because I want to learn something. And sometimes I go, oh shit, I never thought of it that way. Thank you, good point. Most of the time, if I'm saying something, I'm pretty sure I'm right. Because I don't want to be wrong. It's a bad feeling to be wrong. And I was wrong often as a child. Growing up, I was wrong about a lot of things. It's a terrible feeling. What an idiot. But I accepted it, and I moved on. And now I'm going to be sure of something I'm saying. So if I'm arguing with someone, I'm probably going to be right. Probably. But if I'm wrong, if it's about specific things, then, I'll hey, thank you for serving the supper. Thank you. Appreciate it. I mean, I didn't ever looked at it from that perspective. But that's definitely not what's going to happen with an argument. Anybody wants to argue about something? Let's argue about something. Pick a stupid topic. I like to argue stupid things about basketball because it just proves my point. It's like I could give people layer upon layer of why, say, I don't know if you watch basketball, like why a player is better than another player. I'm going to use efficiency. I'll use, field goal percentage. I'll use all of these other stats. And like, the people I'm like, you don't understand. Like, you're not seeing it from a very simple level. Like, if the team wasn't as good, which it wasn't, and the stats are that high already, imagine if he was on a good team. Or imagine, people don't get it. They just like, well, this person was winning all the time. This person got 30 points a game because he's the only one shooting the ball. I get in this conversation about Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony all the time. I'm like, they are exceptionally overrated. But let me see what you're talking about here. Yeah, drink pure water. Yeah, I got you on that. That would be interesting. I've never there's a lot of people that you could also put live God. Live God. I don't know. That's like to me as superfluous and silly to say that Robert Anton Wilson or Manly P. Hall or Alan Watts or Aldous Huxley was somehow doing a disservice to humanity. At that point, I go, what the fuck ever are you talking about? I know more people that have names that mean nothing, that say dumb shit, but people listen to them anyways. But it doesn't. Well, if you just decoded their name, don't get it. Don't get me wrong. I understand that if you use, there's ways of using gematria and ways of decoding using anagrams. Anagrams are up there in importance, but I don't know what. I'm gonna have to find out what he said when he was explaining that was not helpful, holistic, and pursuing about having a better world. I don't remember what he said. And in fact, I probably listened to as much of him as anyone on the planet, along with Alan Watts. I don't know what they said that was so evil or anti-health, anti-well-being, especially Neville. You just be like, hey, go about your day, and always, it's got to be in you to always imagine that everybody has a better life, and so do you. That's your job. That's what Jesus is. That's what the whole thing is, to imagine that everything is a better way than it is. If you start there, what has he said wrong? Absolutely nothing. You'd have to be, people love to nitpick shit. Divine, what about the outages? I don't know. Hope you know how to drink piss. Hope you got some clean water around. I don't know. Hope you have a water source nearby. Hope you got some candles. I don't know. Oh no, I mean, I always seen that in his name, but I could break it down a few other ways. What was his name? What else would his name be? Well, Neville Goddard to be good. What's wrong with good? And Neville doesn't have to be evil, and he left out an N. Is he a villain? The villain of good? See, if you were a villain of good, doesn't that make you good? But if you were a villain, you'd be evil and bad, but you'd be lit. See, you can always get flipped around, especially in anagrams. Still figuring out what he was doing that was so anti-advancement of the human species. Yeah, but the outages and electricity and shit. I think people's responses, because people are spaz, they're going to be reactionary, and when they do the power outages and the food shortage, they're going to do the power outages, the food shortages, and then the internet being down. People respond reactionary in a very absurd way. It'll probably take about 48 hours for that to happen. If the first time they go and they do it 72, people will start to lose their shit. See, I live somewhere where power out, people just like, oh, this is what we're doing, cool. Go to the bar and just sit by candlelight and have some drinks. That's it. You do that until it's over. So I don't know. So being somewhere there's like hurricanes and power outages and floodings and shit all the time, people here I don't think will wild out very quick. But the internet, so like if you ain't got no cash on hand and you got no internet, how people can pay for things and buy things, and how many people like got that much left over? How much people got stock in their house of foods? So at what point are they like, I need to eat? And then they don't know how to find information because their internet's not on. So what are they gonna do? I mean, if you turn the internet off for 24 hours for people, most people would be like, fuck it, I don't know what to do. And then 48 hours would be, holy shit, like I don't know, I haven't had internet for I don't know how many days. I was like, well, I guess I got internet. So I just like, fuck it, I'll park over here, there's things to do, there's all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Fun nature. The only thing that sucked was evening, is living where I live, is I had to walk up and down way too many flights of stairs. This would normally be an elevator, but oh well. I mean, I wonder that about certain people too. Like I live in a building where there's a lot of older people that if electricity's out for too long, they have like machines, dilators and things. You gotta think about it from that level, and you got like how are they getting to their apartment? Most of them they're living on the first or second floor. They could get there, but the ones that live on higher floors, how are they getting up and down the stairs? They're gonna be able. At what point? At one point is like, and that's not just here. I'm saying if I use this as a small example, this is everywhere. I know, Caleb. Well, yeah. I mean, it was just like, fine. Well, I guess I'll just sit here and drink my piss. I don't know. I got a bottle of whiskey waiting. I got my piss, which is fine. And I got and lucky for me, I don't really. I try not to keep. I try not to keep too much food in my fridge because it would just go to waste. Because it's happened before. I'm like, well, why? It was so funny because I just did the shopping for the week. I was like, let me do a week's worth of shopping. Let me just buy a bunch of shit, put it in the fridge, and get all fresh fruits and veggies. Great, wonderful. Power shuts off. Had a hurricane came through. Power's off. So now everything is in the freezer, melted after a day and a half. So now I got no ice cream, popsicles. I got nothing in there. That's all going bad real quick. Can't turn the stove on, no electricity. And what's up in the fridge, I better eat that, it's going bad. So if I really want to eat the canned shit. Oh, it's so good, right? Or I could just sit there and got a copper vessel. Yeah, I have one. Actually, I had like 3 of them, and So, well, actually, now I think I had a 4th one. I had a really nice one that I took out one day, and then it got lost in a shuffle. But whatever. Yeah. So what do people do during? Most people don't experience long term. Now that people are so used to the internet, what will they do? So when the night is around, you've got no electricity and no internet, what's your choices? Unless you have a candle, and if you don't have a book, what are you doing? If you don't have a candle, I guess you're going to sleep, huh? Or are you too anxious? You don't know. How are you opening anything? You got everything electronic, everything, That's part of the major resets. I mean, are they going to fry the system? Are they going to completely do all that? I mean, if they really wanted utter chaos and just to see what happens, that's what they would do. That would thin out the herd real quick. Get rid of the power. People would, yeah. What are they gonna do? Yes. The bad part of anarchy would take over, but it wouldn't. That's not anarchy. That just changes people's standard practices in life. But if once you got food's supposed to come in, all of a sudden electricity ain't working, so the places that were storing the food and the grocery stores, now we're working with supply chains. We got supply chains of food, with trucking, with gas prices are going up. And, okay, all of these things are happening at once. What happens? What do people do? Most people will lose their shit. And when it comes down to like gritty shitty committee, like with all the movies you watch where people are like freaking the fuck out, turning zombies, it'll happen quickly. It'll happen quickly, and as soon as it happens, people will wow the fuck out, and then most of the cities will be empty. Nobody will be in the city anymore. There'll be no reason to be in the city. The entire cityscape, people would go where they might be able to find food. Most people are reliant on food so much, they would go there. And then who takes over the cities? I do. People that could handle just being in the city and just like, well, I'm just gonna drink my piss. I'm gonna get some water. I go forage in some places around here. Yeah. But everybody else, they'll end up. They would end up cutting each other. Hello. They'll end up just like the movie. I mean, it's not. That is not influencing people to act like that. Usually it is. I get it. But in this case, they're just showing it will happen. And it's not going to be over the course of a long period of time. It will happen quickly. As soon as a few people start losing their shit, then people are going to respond accordingly. I'm just going to sit and watch. I got binoculars. I'm going to sit there and they say, I hope you have your popcorn ready. Where are you going to pop your corn from? But everybody that's talking about it is they are somewhere with it. Some people can just see it. Some people have observed the signs, and other people are in the system telling you like what's happening. Some of it is organic. Some of it is all of the larger bodies of energy and time, whatever you want to call that. Some of it is man-made. Nonetheless, you think the everything that's been going on, they told you before it. What do you think's going to go on now? What do you think's going to happen now? When did just popularize to watch all the zombie movies and shit? You think that doesn't happen? I mean, I hope it doesn't turn into that much of a crazy zombie flick, but if it does, people just die. Dies. You know what I mean? Some of the 1,000-year-old monks. There's a possibility that like some people will end up just knowing how to not survive, but to actually do well, and their vibes will be so high. There was a movie called or not movie. It was a series. I think it was called Z Nation, and there was the guy that turned blue, and he could control the zombies. Is that the one? So like. You know, and the blue people are connected to so many other cultures.
Oh, okay.
They're connected to the old ancient ones. The blue people are connected to the they're silver bloods, but also the Anunnaki kind of, right? And then all of a sudden what's the last movie that came out with all the blue people? Why am I forgetting the name of it? Anyway, so was not to say that there aren't people that have gone and existed through the flood and whatever the reset was, and because they did fasting and they did things, they ended up living. And they're like, wow. On the other side, they got younger. They Benjamin Button that shit, and got younger, and they've just been around. Could you for certain tell me that I'm not 300 years old and I've already done this a couple times, and I'm just telling you how it works? Maybe. Or even if I haven't, but it doesn't sound like it seems, I don't know, it's kind of weird out there, huh? What should you do? What would you do? Oh, and also, you guys, thumbs up are awesome, likes and subscribes and all that bullshit, and you can donate to me because that helps, because until the major crazy reset shit happens, after that happens, then they can't do anything about where people reside. Because then everyone is on the same boat and they can't. They're like, well, the world is completely shit show. Like, no, you live where you live. And you can find a new spot if you want, but until then, I still do require money for food items and a roof and this thing, because it still costs me. So, hopefully it doesn't come to that with the world, and it's just kind of scare tactics. But, wow. I think I got a beer in here. Yeah, I do got a beer. Share beer with you guys. Cheers. What else? You know, I don't want to turn this into that talk, but we're kind of in that area now about the reset and zombies and what's going to be valuable in the new coming, I don't want to call it an age or whatever occurs. Like, is the reset, why is the reset, does it take you back to the beginning? Because like, if we go back to whatever that was, isn't it weird that the technology was high, then it went low, and there's nothing, and now we're going to build up to something only to reset back? I don't think that happens. There's going to be somehow a firewall for high technology, and I think there's a connection there. There's a firewall to the high technology. No shit. This is Griff. I think you might be onto something there. I'd like to fully address that, because the amount of people that I know that have gone the vegan route, they're always more intense and angry, and they're missing something, and getting brain, that's getting information, getting their brains back. But the only way to do it is eat other people's brains. Like, fuck it. Here's the thing: is I come online here for free. Anybody wants to, you can eat my brain right now. Eat it, whatever you want to. Simple. You don't have to actually cut my brain out to eat it. That's always that. There's always that thing. And there are some. That's funny. There was a show that I started watching the other day. There was a chick that became a zombie, but she worked at a morgue, I think, and so she would eat the brains of the dead. So that I guess people. Well, I just started it, so I just previewed it and watched a little bit. I fell asleep, but I think the premise was she worked in a morgue and she became a zombie and started eating all of the brains and became like super intelligent, like hyper intelligent, but had to continue to eat dead brains, like of all the. So I think the idea was, the premise was nobody knew she was like. I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch. Now I have to watch it, because it seemed like nobody knew that she was actually a zombie, and so she was just in the morgue eating brains. That was her job, and so she got all these superpowers. Makes sense. It's funny because the other day, I say the other day, probably like 2.5, 3 years ago, went to this really nice restaurant, and they were serving head cheese. It's brains, sheep brains. Well, I didn't know it, and so I was just like, when I go to a new restaurant, I'm just like, whoever I'm with, I'm just like, let's just get whatever. Let's just tell them, just feed us, I want to know what you guys think is the shit. I don't want to order off the menu. I've never been here. Just put it in front of me. And so, head cheese. I was like, oh, so it's cheese. And this is funny, because this is like right in the middle of being vegetarian and then also eating some meat. And so we're eating it. I'm like, this has a really strange texture. I was like, I don't know if I'm good with this, but yeah, eat it. And I was like, it's kind of weird. And I look it up. I was like, you don't want to know what we just ate. Because at this time, we were probably vegetarian for about 10 years. We just like, because we were just getting back into eating some meat here and there. Now I had cheese, bro. Yeah, the fats and the oils and things that are probably in there, and you're eating information. I mean, that's like the crystal ball. That's holding memories of things. That's like decoding people's realities. What's up, Black Sun? Which one is that? Because they do a lot of weird stuff. I didn't know it wasn't cow tongue. You're not talking about cow tongue with cow brain for a taco? I don't think she tricked you. Maybe she was laughing at you because you're a white boy. Is that what it was? No, they don't. Do they serve? They're not. No, they don't normally serve cow brain. That would be like kind of fancy, right? Yeah. Well, maybe the mistranslation. Kebeza. Oh, I don't know anything about that. So that's right. You're over there. Yeah, I don't know. No, here it's you have the standards. The worst, the craziest thing they have here that I found is tongue. But then there's a couple like fancy restaurants where you can get the really weird shit. But I don't really have that kind of currency to be buying all the fancy brains and If I'm gonna eat liver and onions, I'm gonna go to the diner, spend $3.99, get liver and onions and white bread. And in fact, I don't mind liver and onions. I haven't had it in a long, long time, but I remember not minding it. Yeah, K Bezos brains. Yeah, in Mexican food they have all of it. Yeah, I would assume so. I didn't realize it was a store. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm really, there's see that what I know. There's a tamale. We call him a tamale man. He's awesome. He just walks around New Orleans, getting drunk and getting high. Barely speaks too much English, but he just walks. And he wears a shirt. It's a tamale man, just a short little Mexican dude, and he's always got the greatest tamales. And but he's never had any of the off color meat stuff. I think because he sells to usually. I mean, there's locals know him, but usually like people are like, oh my god, there's fucking tamales coming to me. So who's really trying to eat brains? Oh, you never done liver? Liver is dope. I like it. I just haven't had it in a long time. I don't remember the last time I had liver or anything. I mean, I've had like pate and I had duck liver, which I hate saying because the ducks are my friends. But I had duck liver maybe it's actually been longer than I thought. I mean, 15 or 16 years, and it was funny as fuck too. I was this brand new restaurant open in the middle of Baltimore, so it's like it's like a hoodish area. It's like just off of the projects, but it's like fancy. It's like so just on the corner of gentrification. It's really really nice. But it's just a weird day, so we rolled up and there's all of these vegans out front saying, "Say no to pate and liver, duck," like all that, and they're just out front arguing about everything. And I was like, I'm gonna go inside and eat that, And at the time, which is funny to me, because this is what I know about, but I wasn't vegetarian. Like I knew what was healthy, and I usually would eat mostly. I would stick to as vegetable as possible, but I wasn't vegetarian. And so as soon as they said don't eat the the duck liver, I was like, they have duck fat sliders inside. I'm eating them bitches. Because as soon as they said don't do it, I was like, I must do it then. Yeah, and it was pretty dope. So fatty, it's like butter. I mean, is it worth the process? Probably not. But then again, I go and feed the ducks. If I had enough food in my hands, they would eat it. The way that they get fed is they get a pipe. Here's what they do. Here's why people don't like it. They stick a pipe down the throat of the duck to overfeed them. So then that way, as they're digesting, their liver becomes fattiest, and it becomes this really soft, sweet liver. So they kind of give them a little bit of a liver disorder. But the ducks that I know, I swear, if I had 2 pounds of seed out, they would eat it right on my hand. They want to eat faster than they can. Nonetheless, organ meats are supposed to be super healthy, but again, it's where do you get the liver meats from? The organ meats from? Hold on. Burps. Burp got in the building. Yeah, the organ meats, as long as you're getting them from healthy animals, the more organic the creature, that they're not put in cages and they're putting stresses on different organs into the. Yeah, I think it's all pretty good. Probably the healthier things you can do. If they're healthy, then the organ itself is going to do something healthy for your organs. It's called the science of nature. A fruit looks like something, then their organs looks like something, and is going to do something for you. Yeah, but liver and onions is like kind of like a basic, and it works good too. If you look at a lot of the dishes that have interesting meats, they'll use garlic and onion, and it's usually because of the amount of bacteria that you'll find that the liver and the onion kills the bacterias. because there's a bunch of chemicals and this is why in a lot of cultures they don't use liver and onions because it heightens blood flow and kills bacteria and it's kind of like a, what do they call something that's a I don't know, it makes you more horny, like what do they call it, aphrodisiac. So like onions and garlic, and there's a few cultures that believe they're aphrodisiacs, but it's because it's heating up the body, because it's chemically breaking down things. So if you have something that is like pork, look into the Chinese culture. If you have pork, they use a lot of garlic and onions to kill the bacteria in the pork. So in liver too, because of the way that they're getting it, it's not a good cut of meat, so it's going to kill the bacteria. Also, make it taste good. Carlos Thanos. Afrodi? How do you say it? We roll the R there? Is that another Mexican thing? I don't know. I gotta ask my cat here. I think he's trying to figure out where he's from. I always say hi to him, but it's always in the elevator. I don't know if he's seen me yet. I could ask him if he knows the food. Afrodi? Is he Afrodi? Who knows? I'm trying to think of the last time I had a piece of organ meat. I don't know. It's been a while. I do, however, it's funny, growing up, I used to only eat overcooked meat. And then once I found that steak that's next to raw is the best shit ever, I was like, what were you doing? What was this that I was eating? Oh, and there's other things. If you find like chutneys, or certain types of salsas, they're always using raw ingredients like pineapples. Pineapples already have another chemical in it. All of these chemicals, it's kind of like if you cook fish with lemon juice or lime juice, the chemicals of lemon and lime, the acid, are causing it to turn into something new. And same thing with onions and pineapples, and all of these things have chemicals that are working upon the meat or whatever else to alchemize it, to make it better for your system. Griff, I've never had raw pork from a healthy animal. What's up, broski? I've never even consumed. I think that's the only thing that I might agree with the literature, like the Quran, the Bible, whatever everybody's reading. It tends to say don't eat pig. That's what it tends to say. I don't know if it's allegory, because it all seems to stem from something that the pig is, but I guess, if that's what there's some places you go and you do a spit, rotisserie. So you go to an island, and they got pig on the island, and they rotisserie thing. That I see as making sense for some reason, and I think it has to do with Hawaii and spam, and what spam is, and what pig is, through actual context and allegorical context, that they cook it, kill it, cook it. Because I think I remember reading some stories. There's some places that the islands were not. Where did the pigs come from? They brought them over from somewhere else. Where did the bananas come from? You know what I mean? There's places, the islands, like some places, fruits and vegetables will grow there, and of course they will. But then there's other places where they bring animals, and the animals don't seem to do too well there. And so they are actually trying to get rid of the animals from being there. could do a whole show on that sometime, spam and animals, and we could get to the language and the, you know, climate and all that. Although it's really, I mean, in some places you see the piggies swimming all over the place, taking swims in the nice water. Pigs are cool. I know people with pigs. The small ones. I was about to buy a guinea pig the other day. Funny enough. But yeah, raw pork. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but like red meat or fish, eating raw is perfectly fine. I wouldn't, like, I could cut the head off a fish and just eat it. And as much as I love cows and couldn't even consider killing a cow, I can eat raw cow meat. Like, if you just give me a bloody piece of meat, I would eat it, and I'd enjoy it. But there's something about, like, okay, so think of it this way. I don't chickens. Fuck a chicken. Fuck them. But do I, could I kill a chicken? Yes. But would I eat a raw chicken? No, that's so gross. I don't like, there's nothing about that is appetizing. Although cooked chicken, perfectly fine. There's other things that I don't want to kill that I could eat raw. I don't know what that is. You know what I'm saying? Like red meat, I could eat raw, but, and that's not just like classic, you gotta cook that. I'm just saying, I just think chickens are assholes. I could wring their neck, I don't care. If you can catch one, kill it. But I'd still cook it. Hey, Calisanos, that's funny because when you said Aphrodite and you didn't finish, I had said as you were typing aphrodisiac. I thought I said that after you typed that, which was funny, but whatever, yeah. The timing is really funny on here. Like, so sometimes, like, I'm saying something and then like 2 or 3 minutes later you guys were like commenting on it. Yeah, I don't know. There's something. What is it about, like, that we? I can tell you why from the standpoint of eating proteins. I can tell you why it's better to eat protein that comes from an animal that eats vegetables versus, like, why don't if we're so badass, why don't we eat animals that eat other animals? Because then you're so far removed from the actual protease, the protein, the source code, that you're eating something so far removed. So eating alligator, what does alligator eat? Alligator out there eating flowers and vegetables. They're eating meat, which was eating the veg. So they're 2 steps removed. They're 3 steps removed. But down here in swampland, we eat alligators. I've seen 2 alligators the past couple days, and I wanted to wrestle them because they weren't that big. They were only about 4 feet. I figured, like, if they bit me, it would just be like a pretty bad. Be fucked up, but I thought I could take it. I had a couple drinks in me, but that's not, because I'd never seen one. I lived there for many, many years. I've never seen one. And I seen 2 in the bayou. I thought somebody was joking. I know. I was like, are you sure that's not somebody with an RC car playing around? I was like, I'm gonna flying elbow drop this thing right now. But yeah, the meat stuff is, I think it's how many steps removed it is from eating from the earth, like eating from source. I mean, what like, so you have, is there a step? Yeah, what eats alligators? Like, would you ever consider eating elephant meat? I think that's crazy. I mean, there are people that do. People who want ivory husks, like poachers and stuff. Like, I'm not okay with any of that. What is it about that? Why do I care more about the elephant than I do about the chicken? Let's fuck the chicken. Because the elephant is badass. The elephant is something. There is something really important about that elephant. Like, if you had to go, what's more important? You got an elephant standing there or 30 chickens? What's more important than the future of humanity? I don't know, but I'm thinking the elephant is. It would just be a feeling that I would get. You know, self-preservation. I said the future of humanity, not just species. Like if you had to sort species out, what do you get rid of? I guarantee you get rid of fleas, flies, probably wasps. You're gonna get rid of mosquitoes. You can go through cockroaches. You don't want these things. Okay, granted, if you get rid of spiders, then you're gonna have too many, you know, flies and ants and things, right? And you can see it kind of works, but some things, if you could kind of reorder things, there's things you would get rid of, no doubt. But I don't think you would get rid of. You wouldn't get rid of a cow. You wouldn't get rid of, which would be an auroch, but you already screwed it up by shaving the cow's horns off. Because a cow used to have big horns. Go to India, you'll see. They're called aurochs, but they'll call them cows, I guess. But here they know because they don't want to get stabbed in the head because they want the milk. If you were their friends, they could still have the horns. You could still have the milk from Moloch, the milk maker, milkman. I think that was maybe the first place humanity went wrong was by getting rid of the cow's horns. I'll do a whole nother. I've already made those videos. I can tell you all about that. Moloch, milk, milkman, milk, cheese being the moon, cows, Isis, horns. It's connected to the cow very much. Rock. So I never know who's on here and who's listening to my really old work because I just assume you guys know because I probably said it, but then again, when you have 3,000 videos, you're like, I know people listen to me, but you probably didn't listen to all of them. But I don't have time to do, I don't want to do 30 minutes to explain to you that. But I think you can make the connection between milk, MLK, Moloch, MLK, the moon being money, moo, cows make money, ISIS, IS, which is connected to the moon, which is why it's on a dollar bill. So money is connected to the moon. It's currency, and what milk is. You know, there's a longer thing there, but it's all connected. It's all because of cows, the horns. Yeah, Griff, it was a while ago. It was a couple years ago. A while ago? Like, that many years ago? Yeah, I mean, it's if you know some of the ways that I make connections through language and then through not personification, but anthropomorphic behaviors in what animals look like, and especially language, because you can see clearly there's a connection to cheese, the moon, money. There's a very big connection there, and what you call Moloch, and even why there's coatings in these things. One second.
No, I'm talking to her.
Burp down in the building. All right, what else? What else you guys want to get into here? So what else up in here? So I don't know if you guys know, this happens sometimes where you guys will comment and it doesn't show up. So Black Sun was talking and then Kalos said something in that griff. So if anybody else wants to comment or has an idea that you want me to talk about, let me know. If you want me to just spaz out on something, you can give me one word, doesn't matter. Work on it. Or a larger idea, fuck with that. Whatever you like. I do, however, at a certain point here, I'll probably just run up to my... I'll leave my stuff here, but I gotta run up to my apartments and grab a beverage, because that's what I got. It's not gonna be not enough fuel for the broadcast. Well, I mean, it is enough, but it just depends on how long you guys want me to talk for. It's like, always buy me one more beer, but just make sure it's weighed later. Just let me get to almost to the end. Be like, one more beer. That works well. Don't buy me shots. Only you can buy me one shot at the beginning of the night just to get going. But other than that, I don't really. I mean, I will, but I don't. It's not my standard practice anymore. It gets in the way of having a long day. So, Griff, you said it rings a bell. So a ball. So there's a lot of these archetypical characters, these archetypes, like Bel or Baal, which is connected to Moloch, which is connected to Lord Baal is Moloch, which is, there's a lot of these references that they may have existed, and they probably do in other realms, but like there definitely are. They're showing you like what energy is. If you have no Baal, you've got no balls, you get no bells, where you getting the energy from? You can't just be up here like politicking and thinking that everything is like light and that. No, like the furnace is below. It heats the realm up without the heat of what's beneath. What do you think's happening? As much as the sun's going to work to radiate energy, and the earth will become cold. You need to have fire beneath your body. You need to have the dantian. You need to have the lower realm. It can't work without it. Human nature is immutable. Well, you'd have to start with what song is it? What is Human Nature? By who did Human Nature? Well, not first, but I know that Bjork did Human Nature. But the original one was by '60s soul. Help me with this. Maybe '70s. Human Nature. Kind of funk soul. It should be right. It should be the first thing that pops in my head, and it's just not. Well, no, Bjork did Human Behavior, right? Human Behavior. Human Nature was sung by. Come on, somebody's got to get this. Even if you got to look it up, Google it. I don't know why I'm lost on this song right now. See, this is how funny I am with music. This is somebody so popular that everybody knows the song. You should know the artist, and I should know it, but I don't off the top of my head. But I could name like 60 awesome songs by strange bands, and it's not that I like strange bands. It's just like weird music that somebody shares with me. Who did Human Nature? Because there's like you got 4 choices here. And the question still, because you gave me a quote, I need to know what that is. What is Human Nature? I have no idea what that is. To be somewhat ridiculous, somewhat recluse, somewhat curious, somewhat. Maybe we'll explore that tomorrow. Like sometimes, see, Human Nature would be curiosity. It comes to mind. Like, right now, like I want to jump in this pool because I want to know what temperature it is, but I also know my nature isn't that I would need a towel, but I know I need a towel, and I'm not wearing the right shorts for it. What would human nature be? Somebody put the song in there. Put the don't make me think about this too hard. I could ask anyone in this building right now what it is. What up, Simon Fishesh? Griff, oh, it was in context of Bitcoin. Okay. Interesting. You have to give, that's a really, you jumped the big gap there that I'll look into that idea. I'm not following you right there, right now. Huh. I've ever heard of a book of human language. I mean, are you saying a book, quote, human language, or are you just saying a book of human language? Like, you got to help me a little more with that. I'm very familiar with many books on human language and original languages, the original language, the way we speak, syntax, semantics. Very versed in that, I assume. But if you're saying a book on it, or if you're saying okay, A Salon. Okay, I know the group, but no, I'll check it out. I know the group, so I might have heard it before. Or however you say, A Salon, or no one's ever said the word to me, and so it's not like a hip hop group where they're like, yo, it's fucking hip hop group #1, and then they go into like whatever the fuck, you know. So if you have a band like that, is it A Salon? A Salon? Whatever. Yeah, I'm familiar with them slightly. Like if you played some other music, I would know it. It's like that. I still want to know what song we were talking about. Human behavior. Or human nature, excuse me. Human nature. Who did human nature? Help me with this one. Don't make me think about this anymore. It's stuck in my brain. Freestyle Fellowship? Okay, then maybe I'm thinking of a different group then. So you're saying, is it Michael Jackson? I thought it was somebody else. I thought it was older than Michael Jackson. And didn't he redo? See, now we're getting deep into. Okay, so he is from a hip hop. Okay, he's from a hip hop art group. I'll listen to some music later. I thought it was a rock group. I think I might be confusing that with a group that has spelled very similar. Freestyle Fellowship. Anybody more famous that I would know? I know a lot of I don't know, art, hip hop, music conglomerates, but and a lot of them would be, I guess, underground considered, but it's ringing a bell, but I just maybe. Yeah, hey, Simon, I don't think it's gonna help me that if you spell it right, because now I'm like, I've got like 3 ideas in my head, and it's funny. As soon as I figure it out, I'll tell you the other group I thought it was. I have a couple songs in mind. If you do want to know the hip hop that I like, I will re-release this video of mine I don't know how well you know my channel, but I had to shut down about 3,000 videos, or else they were going to eliminate my channel. Anyways, one of the ones that I still have, but I can reintroduce to you, is one is my 33 favorite teachers, and one is 33 greatest hip hop artists, or it's called A to Z hip hop artists. I might have done 26. Anyways, yeah. So I think we've done that a few times on here. Like whenever we get like deeper into the funniness, and people are like, oh, like they ask me the question, and we'll start talking about hip hop. Oh, like we could do A to Z right now. Like who would be number one? I just do like A to Z, like best rapper with that first letter of the name. I could do that. Do that with a lot of things, but. So what's next? What do you guys want to get into? What's up, Griff? Have I looked in that? Yeah, I'm familiar with it. Calistanos, K. Reno, yeah, he's up there. For letter K's, I think he might be number 2. Yeah, good storyteller. Yeah, good flow too. Yeah, I like him a lot. I don't know his music that well, but I know of him. And Griff, I do know the card game. I've probably spoken on it a few times. I mean, if you make a tarot deck and then use the tarot deck, you're influencing. You could make a tarot deck tomorrow and adjust that, but the problem with adjusting what they're doing is they have more people paying attention to what they're doing, that are believing in their narrative. Tarot cards will tell you. It will tell you a lot. Tarot cards are high-level magic. It depends on who's reading them and who made them, and there's a few things that go into that. Could you override those cards? Yes. It would take a lot though. And who does it influence? Does it influence only the people that know that exists, or is it influencing everybody else too? Which is a bigger challenge. Which is, let me explain it this way. Right now, whether or not you watch the news media or not, you know that there's something weird going on because you went to a grocery store and somebody was wearing a mask, and you were like, "What the fuck is everybody wearing a mask? Like, what? Do you live on a rock? You don't know the whole thing." So you're going to be influenced by everyone else repeating the tarot cards, repeating the narrative, the news media, the broadcasters. And if you own the media, what more do you need? Everything else is secondary. You don't need to control media, information technology, media, banks, governments, laws, magic, information technology, media, banks, governments, laws. That order. And nothing else. But so if you have the largest sway, how's anybody else gonna get a word in edgewise? So what's up? Who else is left in here? Should I? Because I'm gonna come back down here. I want to go grab a beer. I'm gonna have to go upstairs to do it. Should I just leave this on? Do you guys want to just chill? I just leave my stuff here. You guys chill for 5 minutes. I'll come back through. Or should I just call this a show and then start another show in 5 or 10 minutes? It's up to you guys. If I start a new show, we can go a different direction completely. I'll have a different attitude. And you guys have different questions, and maybe new people will show up. I think that might be better if we do that. But I will be back in 10 minutes. So let me just make the choice for you. Let's call this a show. If you guys are here, come back in. What time is it? 7:42 my time. Let's make it 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. So 18 minutes. That way I can take a piss, pour a drink, meditate for a second. And I'll come back down here, and we'll have a drink, and we'll talk about something else. Maybe I'll have a different idea. And also, I have one text to answer. So I'll see you guys. Come back through, and as usual, if you're new here or if you're not, take care of yourself. You know, if you can, help out everybody else. But take care of yourself. Inspire the things around you, and feel free to donate to me because that helps me out. CashApp, PayPal, it's beneath in the description box. I appreciate it because without that, I don't have a roof nor this phone. If I don't have a phone, you guys don't listen to me talk about this wild shit. So I'll see you guys in 18 minutes at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we'll talk further on anything you guys want. Yeah, that way I can go grab a beer. Sound good? Great. Good to see everybody. Toodles.